What if I told you I'm turning 40? No husband, no kids, no stable, respectable career. Living with my Hanai dad and far away from my family and home country here in Hawaii. Driving Uber and going back to college at the same time. How would you judge my life? I'm guessing a lot of people would say, that doesn't sound like a very successful life. But before you decide, I want to ask you something first. Have you ever been at the lowest point of your life? So lost, so confused about where you were going, that you wrote a letter to your future self, holding on to that one tiny bit of hope, and maybe someday things would be better. My 20 years old self did. I wrote to my 25 years old self, and I hope that by then I would have all the answers and finally be living a better life. After that, every 5 years, I keep writing, always to the version of me 5 years older. But I never once wrote back. Now, almost 40. I want to write that letter back as a gift to myself and maybe as a gift to you as well, who is watching this right now. If you are feeling anxious about where you are or where you are going, this is a story for you. Dear 21 years old Jenny, it's almost June 2026. The sun is coming through the window here in Hawaii. I'm sitting in my room at my Hanai dad's place, writing this letter to you. Right now, you are in January 2008. You just graduated from college. Every morning, you wake up not knowing what to do with your day, not knowing where your life is going. You're like a leaf floating on the water, just going whenever the current takes you. That year, China was getting ready for Olympics. The streets were full of energy and excitement. The whole country felt like an engine that had just started up, loud, powerful, moving forward. But your world was completely still. What you didn't know was that January, life was quietly shuffling the cards in a place you couldn't see. On January 19th of that year, on the most ordinary afternoon you can imagine, your family lost 3 people they loved in a car accident. I'm not going to describe what that feels like, because some pain, there are no words for it. But I remember exactly where you were. You were at your very first internship at the office when your mom called. And you could hear in her voice that something was terribly wrong. You froze. You couldn't understand how this kind of things you only see in the movies could actually be happening in your family. And then, standing right there in the middle of the office, you completely broke down. The world kept moving, but you stood still, not knowing where to go next. Then came May, the Sichuan earthquake. That day, nearly 100,000 people disappeared from this world in a single moment. I remembered you sitting in front of the TV, watching hands sticking out from rubble, mothers calling their children's name into the dirt. And for the first time, you felt a fear that was very, very real. Not from the fear of dying, but the sudden realization that people don't just die when they get old. And at any moment, any day, any second, someone's life or many lives could just be over. That year, death taught you 3 things. First, I'm living in a life that so many people fought hard and never got the chance to have. Second, life has no script. Life is, at its core, unpredictable. Things don't happen in neat, orderly steps. The people you think will always be there might be gone tomorrow. Third, what love really is. Those 3 lessons you won't truly understand for a long, long time. Dear Jenny, I want to thank you for the courage you showed after that. Before that year, you had never really chosen anything in your own life. Growing up, what school to go to, what to do, it was always life pushing you, your environment pushing you. Everyone around you just doing the same thing. So you did it too. But after that year, something shifted inside of you. You started asking yourself a question. What if an accident happened to me tomorrow? What if tomorrow is my last day? And you were surprised to find the thing that scared you the most wasn't death. It was the thought of reaching the end of your life and realizing you had never truly lived, that you had gone through the whole thing without really being present. That answer made you restless. So not long after, you left home alone and moved to Guangzhou. At that time, Guangzhou felt like another planet to you. The streets were 3 times wider than anything in your hometown. The crowds were always thick and fast, everyone rushing somewhere for something. And the street lights stayed on all night, right through till morning. You got a job at a film company and you become a film distributor. That job took you to so many cities, let you meet people you'd only ever seen on screen. And once, it even put you on a plane to America. That was the first time you felt just how big this world really was. 3 years in, you had a war at work. And you found yourself standing at crossroads, looking at 2 roads. One was stay, keep the stable, well-paying job, keep going. The other was to quit, go to America, and become an au pair. Everyone who knew you thought you had lost your mind. Your family said, "You're going to give up a good job just to go babysit for strangers?" Your friends said, "Are you serious? You can barely speak English." But you remembered what death had taught you. Life had no script. There's no road that was meant to be taken. Before you decided, you let yourself imagine the worst every possible ways could go wrong in a foreign country. You were scared, but then you asked yourself honestly, even if all to that happened, would you still go? And with a shaky, quiet voice somewhere inside of you, the answer was yes. You knew if you took the safe road, you would spend the rest of your life wondering about the one you didn't take. So you went. Those years, you were like a dandelion seed that had finally found a new ground. And you just grew. You went skydiving, standing at that open door. Your heart was pounding out of your chest. 10,000 feet of nothing below you. You were terrified, and you jumped anyway. You ran a marathon, all 26 miles of it. Just thinking about that distance used to make your leg feel weak. You barely trained, but you pushed through the pain and crossed the finish line. You went on so many wild hikes, and standing at the top, looking out at the world below, you felt something for the first time. This world is so beautiful. And then you made a decision that shocked everyone again. you joined the US military. Not because of some big American dream, just because you loved this island and you wanted to stay. And serving in the military was the only legal path you could find. You couldn't bring yourself to marry someone you didn't love just to get a visa or green card, because you believed in cause and effect. Even in the back, then you didn't have the words for it. You refused to take the easy road that most people would have taken. But life doesn't get easier just because you get braver. The military pushed you into a shallow water. Your life hit pause for 5 years. 5 years of not being able to go home. 5 years of being stuck in a place you loved but with no way forward. That was the second real darkness in your life. If it were not for those 3 lessons that death had taught you, if you hadn't known deep down that your life is worth so much more, that you didn't have the right to end it, I may not be here today writing this letter to you. So you hold on, you keep going. And in those years of stillness, life brought you 2 people, your Hanai dad and your Hanai grandpa. They gave you a home, and in the middle of a lonely night, far from everything familiar, you finally understood another way that love can look. Not grand, dramatic feelings, not blood ties, just someone who, in the darkness moment, leaves the lights on and waits for you to come home. Finally, at 35, you got your legal status. You could finally work openly, properly, like a normal American. You joined a friend's real estate company. You thought that was it, your moment to really build something. And honestly, you were good at it. Your numbers were solid, clients liked you. But 3 years later, you were at the crossroad again. Most people would have stayed. Familiar environment. Why leave? But you left anyway. Again, without no clear plan. Just that stubborn little voice inside saying, it's time to go. So, this is my life at 40. Driving Uber, back in school, still living in my Hanai dad's place, far from the people I love. No partner, no kids, no impressive job title or successful business. And yes, you noticed, in everything I just said, there was no love story. It's not that there was no one. It's just I haven't found him yet. From 30 to 35, I was anxious about it, really anxious and scared. But now, I'm not ashamed anymore for not becoming what other people expected, because I finally understood the things we think we're supposed to have. Marriage, kids, a stable career, a life our family is proud of. Those were never the right answer. They're just one way to live. Death taught me life has no script, so of course, there's no one correct way to live it. Dear 21 years old Jenny, I didn't become who you hope I would. I didn't become who the world expected me to be either. But I found who I actually am. I found the purpose and meaning of my own life. I am living in this world with my whole heart. I'm loving my life. I'm loving myself and the people around me with care and intention. I had the courage to face the wound from our childhood, and I've been working to heal them. I try to love my mom and dad the way I always wished someone would love me, to reach that scared, hurt child inside of them, to stop the generational trauma and curse. and to help them heal too. Even at 40, I haven't settled. I haven't married someone I don't love just to make my life easier. I haven't let money or status become more important than what I know is right. Because I remember the first thing this ever taught me, I'm living a life that so many people fought hard for and never got the chance to have. I have no right to waste it. So, dear 21 years old Jenny, thank you. Thank you for being pure and brave, for planting a seed full of possibility in the story of our life. I want you to know at 40, our real life is just beginning. It took me 20 years to finally understand this. Life is not a test with a right answer. It's a movie full of unknowns. Don't doubt your choices. Don't be afraid of what other people think. Because the best part of this story hasn't happened yet. The ending hasn't happened yet. And the director, the writer, has always been you. Remember that. I love you. And I'm so proud for being you. So, would you still judge my life the same way? If you are at the point in your life where you feel like you haven't become who you hope to be, I want to ask you, whose expectations are those really? Yours or someone else's? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Let's find that inner peace and meaning together in this loud, rushing world. This is Zhen with them. Here, I share real-life stories combined with ancient Eastern wisdom to help you find calm and clarity in the middle of this loud, overwhelming world. Not a self-help guru, not someone with all the answers, just a fellow human being sitting with you through the hard parts. If today's story resonates with you, please subscribe and hit the bell so we can walk this road together and make this world a better place.